Welcome to Chakras, Aura, and Energy Flows, our video exploring the whole energy system.
And exploring that matters, not just for well-being, but for getting more magical oomph into your practice.
Directing energy, shielding, spell work, all of that starts with your energetic body.
Think of it like a wand, not the Hollywood version that shoots sparks when it malfunctions, but the real idea behind a wand, a tool that channels energy in alignment with a structure.
A wand works to direct energy because of how well it holds the energy and how well energy flows through it. If the core is blocked, if the material doesn't connect well to the user, the wand can't direct energy cleanly.
So a wand has a physical structure, like we have a physical body, and it has an energetic structure that the user directs with their consciousness, like we have an energetic body that we direct with our consciousness.
So we're sort of similar. The energetic portion of the wand is in the wand, but not of the physical matter of the wand.
Our subtle body is in the body, but it's not of the physical matter of the body. It's in an energetic life force structure that is flowing with the body.
We have a physical structure, the body, and we have an energetic body, like the energetic core running through the body of that wand.
We perceive ourselves as having a body, and we are, but that is not the only reality.
We're also made of a subtle energy body, which is occupying about the same approximate space as our physical body.
It's our chakras, nadis, and aura that form the energetic body. When those channels are clear and aligned, our energy flows through us with more power.
We are our first magical tool, and that's why subtle body work matters. The better you understand your own energy flows, the better you can direct energy, tell what energy is yours and what energy is not, and then use both of those in magical work.
And how it works can be a little different from person to person, so you have to figure out how your own energy works.
Which is what this video should help you do.
And in later videos in the curriculum, we'll connect all this to energetic resonance and invoking energy or spiritual beings.
So we're not going to go into that today, but we want you to know this isn't fluff or filler. The subtle body is the foundation for many other magical skills.
So let's get into it. Previously in the series, we had a video called A Brief History of Chakras, and then we went deep into the chakras in a video called Best Chakra Video.
And if you're following our curriculum, you've had access to the guide for magical practice that goes with that. So hopefully you've already played with some of the exercises.
But chakras are just one part of a larger energetic system. So now we're going to zoom out further and look at where chakras fit inside the whole setup.
Chakras are part of your energetic core. 7 energy centers stacked in a vertical line from the base of your spine all the way to the crown of your head. But to make this a complete package, we also need to talk about involution and evolution, your aura, and the energy flows between your aura and your chakras.
These are the major aspects of the energetic system that people mean when they say subtle body, light body, or energy body. Different terms, same basic idea.
They're the major parts of the field of energy and consciousness. And I want to put an emphasis on the consciousness because a lot of people don't think about that because they are fields of energy and consciousness that runs through you and around you. That's the spiritual energy part of you that senses and moves energy when you're doing magic.
We also need to make it clear that although we're discussing the subtle body as having all these different parts, ultimately it's all part of the same system.
It's all interconnected, and a change to one part will impact all the other parts.
Let's start with involution and evolution, the big currents of energy.
There are 2 primal drives, one for involution and one for evolution.
Together, they create a major flow of energy moving through you.
That flow runs from the crown chakra down to the root chakra and then back up again.
The chakras are basically suspended and energized in that current.
The terms involution and evolution were first adapted for occult use by the Theosophists in the late 1800s. Later, the terms got picked up by other Western occult traditions.
Helena Blavatsky and the early Theosophists were really focused on connecting to higher realms. They even developed a map called the 7 Planes, a layered map of reality.
Think of it like a 7-layer cake. They didn't say cake, but I'm pro cake, so I like the analogy.
Loving the cake. So you've got the highest realms, up where the candles would be, light, spirit, all that. And then the layers descend all the way down to the dense material world at the bottom layer of chocolatey goodness.
They did have other names for the 7 planes, but 7 planes is the best known. That map included the whole cosmos, spiritual, mental, and physical levels.
They also zoomed in on the human version of that and mapped 7 layers of the subtle body. They called those the 7 principles. Basically, their 7-layer map of the subtle body corresponds to the 7 layers of the universe because they believed humans are an expression of the 7-fold universe.
So each of the 7 layers of the subtle body corresponds to one of the 7 planes of the cosmos. They named those layers Atma, Buddhi, Manas, Kama, Prana, Linga Sharira, and Sthula Sharira.
So by the time the Theosophists encountered the chakra system in the late 1800s and early 1900s, they already had a 7-plane universe,
a 7-layer human energetic system,
and a 7-stage evolutionary path of spiritual ascent.
When they saw the chakras, they mapped the chakras onto their own existing 7-layer worldview.
That 7-layer version, developed by Theosophist Charles Leadbeater, shaped the modern Western 7-chakra system.
Now, he was teaching that 7-chakra model in Theosophical circles by the late 1800s, and he published his book, The Chakras, in 1927.
Now, we wanted to draw your attention to this idea of mapping.
Esoteric systems often map the parts of reality that you can't see with your physical eyes, the subtle parts that affect you but aren't solid.
People who want to do spiritual or magical work create maps to help them navigate those invisible layers. And what the map looks like depends a lot on what they're trying to accomplish with their worldview.
The Theosophists were really into moving consciousness through subtle layers of reality, climbing towards higher spiritual states and becoming more enlightened. So using their worldview, they adapted the chakra system to fit that goal and to integrate into their 7-layer system.
They're one of several traditions that use a ladder-like map of the cosmos. Consciousness, spirit, and energy move up and down the ladder between the higher spiritual planes and the material world.
And we're not just standing next to that ladder watching, we're on it. Our energy and consciousness are constantly participating in all of those levels, ascending and descending all of the time.
In fact, we are the ladder, the place where the 7-layer model of the universe is recreated and exists as us, making us the bridge between the heavens and the earth.
Every part of us intersects with the universe, and that gives us access to other realms and to wells of power that are woven into the layers of the universe. We're connected to it, and we are it.
The Theosophists had a huge influence on how we understand chakras today.
That's why when you look at the modern chakra system, you can see their ideas of involution and evolution baked right into it.
The chakra system maps how our consciousness and energy move, almost like climbing up and down a ladder. Each chakra is a rung that shifts what we're aware of and how we experience ourselves.
And right in the middle of that ladder is a natural balance point. Below the balance point are the chakras that are tied to physical life, survival, identity, and the tangible world. And above that balance point are the chakras connected to intuition, spirit, and the more subtle layers of reality. That midpoint, the place where the physical and the spiritual meet, that is the heart chakra.
So let's look closer at this ladder. Below the heart chakra is the root, where we are connected to the physical world and our own individual identity. The sacral chakra, which is about our emotional base that evolves within our intimate relationships. And the solar plexus chakra, which concerns our social identity and personal power.
Above that is the heart chakra. The heart chakra helps us live not just through need, survival, emotional foundations, and control, but also with empathy and respect for all life. Through loving compassion found at the heart, our circle of connections and our consciousness experiences the higher perspective of true soul wisdom.
The ego is balanced with compassionate love, activating the heart chakra to become a gateway, and we are able to access more energy from the spiritual layers of the universe.
That brings us upward to the chakras above the heart. The throat opens to the vibration of life force and truth that thrums through the entire physical universe and unifies it. The third eye opens to the spiritual realms and intuition, and the crown opens to unity of all things, cosmic consciousness and divinity.
The Theosophists believed that through study, meditation, and ritual, you could move your awareness up those rungs, through the layers of reality, and connect with higher realms and spiritual forces. And honestly, that's still how a lot of magical practitioners work today.
That's where the terms involution and evolution come from when used in an occult sense. Involution is spirit descending the ladder into matter, and evolution is consciousness climbing back up.
For us humans, the energy of involution shows up as the drive for spirit to descend into matter and be alive. Fueled by this urge, we become a unique person with autonomy, relationships, senses, and desires. All the stuff of being human.
And we're not the only ones in that current. Everything around us participates in involution. The spirit of the cosmos emanates into matter and imbues it with its essence. Some traditions even say matter is condensed spirit. So at the heart of everything, you find spiritual essence. And that's something that people tap into from magic, even today.
There's a pull in us toward that, toward actually being here in a body, engaging with the world. We want to feel spirituality and sensuality braided together inside of us as us. That longing draws us into form, into involution.
Our involution pulls us into the downward moving current that we share with the whole cosmos. As we move through that descent, the chakras take shape. At the crown, we're connected to spiritual realms, and at the root, we land in the physical world.
So how much energy are we talking about? It's enough to bring a spirit into a body and become alive. That's the power of the current we're riding.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
The second urge is for evolution, energy flowing in the opposite direction from the root all the way up to the crown.
In the context of the light body and the ladder, evolution is the drive for consciousness to rise back upward through the chakras toward union with the spiritual realms.
Evolution is really the expansion of what we call self, our identity.
As I becomes we open into more possibilities. We express ourselves and grow creatively by engaging broader and broader contexts of life as we rise back up the ladder.
As we do that, we bring our inner potential outward, where our inner life becomes something shared and connected.
And something interesting happens. The edges of who we think we are start to stretch.
The higher we go, the more our identity blends with the larger field around us to include it as aspects of who we are.
The edges of individual self begin to soften. Each layer we rise through adds more space, more perspective, more connection. Eventually, the skin of our identity becomes porous, and we start to feel ourselves as part of something vast.
It's in the liminal layers of reality that we find connection to what people often call their high self, their spiritual consciousness.
And often find it easier to access wells of power in the liminal realms for magical practice that are normally less accessible.
That's the soul's journey of involution and evolution. We exist in a constant state of involution and evolution without even practicing any intentional magic.
You can think of it like breathing. Involution is the inhale, spirit drawing itself down into matter, filling the body with life. Evolution is the exhale, consciousness rising back up, releasing and returning toward the higher realms. Same rhythm on a cosmic scale.
So when we talk about chakras, we're really talking about the crossroads of our own consciousness as it meets with those two drives, involution and evolution.
During involution, the spirit descends, the chakras are formed, hubs of energy and consciousness are linked to different layers of reality.
During evolution, those same chakras become gateways of return as consciousness rises back up through them, and they evolve in that process.
That's a very natural framework for magic. It gives you a map of how energy gets here, how you connect to it, and how you can access it with your awareness.
That upward movement, evolution, carries a lot of energy.
It's the kind of energy that can open awareness, help release the spirit, or let someone reach into liminal realms to work magic.
Magic often works by engaging those currents, grounding spirit into matter, or lifting consciousness towards spiritual realms.
The power of involution and evolution are often shown as two serpents coiling around each other, one descending, one rising, weaving through the chakras.
Or as a lightning strike of descending consciousness paired with a fiery serpent rising upwards.
Just as a quick aside, for those of you familiar with the Kabbalah, you might see a similarity between this and the flaming sword, sometimes called the lightning strike, emanating down the tree of life as a path of manifestation, and the serpent's path climbing up the tree to seek divine connection.
The Theosophists were also students of the Kabbalah, so it isn't really surprising to see this mirrored between the systems.
In our video, Best Chakra video, we showed how each chakra naturally opens to the one above and below it, like rungs of a ladder. Those two currents move through that ladder constantly.
The currents surge through and around each of the chakras, giving them energy and momentum.
That's one reason people often describe chakras as spinning wheels of energy with those two strong currents moving in opposite directions. It's like having a pair of rivers turning a series of water wheels.
And when two strong contrasting forces meet and interact, they generate a lot of power.
That's one of the wells of power we draw on for well-being and for magic.
We have a downward flow powerful enough to embody a spirit, and an upward force powerful enough to release a spirit or allow a practitioner to reach between the realms with their consciousness.
Terry Pratchett described us as the place where the falling angel meets the rising ape, and I resonate with that.
The urge to incarnate meets the urge to transcend.
It's hardly surprising that so much magical potential flows through us.
So here's a question. If the chakras form during descension, do they draw power from the layers they pass through? And if they do, can we draw on those layers now for magical work?
The short answer is yes. Involution and evolution move through multiple layers of reality. The chakras are shaped by those layers and stay connected to them. And yes, we can draw power from those layers for magic. We're not limited to our personal energy, and honestly, we shouldn't be.
But even though we're referencing layers of reality here, explaining all the different mapping systems is too big of a project for this video.
There's Theosophical layers, Kabbalistic layers, Neoplatonic layers, the list just goes on.
But we will dive into more of those layers of the cosmos in a future video.
The important thing is that the metaphysical map of the cosmos, whichever map you choose, is a map filled with potential power.
Let's unpack that. When we map the cosmos, we're really mapping what we're made of, what we're part of.
Everything in the physical world is built from those layers.
That's why we can draw power from plants, stones, bones. The layers run through them also, making them bundles of cosmic energy.
For now, we're focusing on our subtle body. Understanding our personal energy helps us reach outward into the liminal layers of the universe because we're made of the same layers as the universe.
When we acquaint ourselves with our own energy, it's one forward step towards acquainting ourselves with the energy and forces outside of ourselves.
The boundary between personal energy and cosmic energy isn't clear-cut. The boundary is kind of squishy.
We're not separate from those layers. We're part of them. Each of us is a nexus point of consciousness where those layers meet.
That's why mapping the chakras alongside involution and evolution matters. Each chakra corresponds to a specific layer of the universe that it resonates with. That relationship shapes the chakra's nature and the kind of power it's best suited to access.
And because the subtle body mirrors the cosmos, we can't talk about chakras without talking about the layers that they come from. We would lose too much understanding about the subtle body.
So what does understanding how the chakras correspond to the layers of the cosmos actually do for us?
A lot. Understanding how each chakra connects to a specific layer of the universe can increase our access to the entire field that chakra participates in.
You don't have to power your magic from only internal energy sources. You can more easily tap into natural currents of the cosmos. Each chakra becomes a doorway into a larger reservoir of power.
Take the heart chakra. You're not just working with your personal compassion. You're drawing from the larger field of unity, compassion, and interconnectedness that the heart chakra resonates with.
Same with the throat. You're not just using your voice, you're accessing the layer of the universe that is rooted in the power of vibration, pattern, and truth. It's like plugging into the grid instead of your own generator.
And once you know which layer a chakra belongs to, you can pull energy from that layer for specific kinds of magic.
Need earthy grounding? Draw from denser layers.
Need clarity or inspiration? Pull from the subtler ones.
It also explains why different magical acts feel different. Protection draws from one layer, divination draws from another. The chakra you work through determines the flavor and quality of the power.
And it's not just about drawing energy inward. You can send energy outward through those layers for communication, invocation, spells, connection, a whole variety of magical procedures.
So understanding the relationship of the chakras to the layers of the cosmos places the personal map of your subtle body into the context of the larger universe.
It shows you where different kinds of power live in relation to you and implies how to reach them and how to move energy intentionally.
And when you work within your relationship to the larger map, magic isn't about only working with your energy. It's about working with the universe itself and reaching into liminal realms.
Understanding your subtle body and how it connects to liminal layers of the universe matters because you are your first magical tool. Every magical act begins with you, your nature, your awareness, your energy.
And just as a spirit descended into a body at birth, that descent never really stopped. We're always connected to our higher self and to divine inspiration. Even when we're not listening to our inner voice, the flow is still there. We are still being created into this existence.
The point is that the descent of a spirit isn't a one-time event ending in the birth of a human. It's an ongoing creation story, shaping us, stirring us, inspiring us as our chakras continue to develop through both descent and ascent our whole lives.
That vertical flow of entwined involution and evolution is a force all 7 chakras are continually forming in throughout our lives.
Just from involution and evolution alone, you already have an immense amount of energy flowing through you, ready for you to tap into when you need it.
Now that we're familiar with that natural power source, let's look at how that energy actually moves in our energetic biology. We're going to explore the Nadis.
Since we're already using the Sanskrit word chakra, we're going to borrow nadi too.
Nadis are subtle channels, streams of life force energy flowing through the subtle body.
They're not physical like nerves or blood vessels. They're part of your subtle anatomy.
Now, some of you might be wondering why we're using the term nadis rather than meridians. We do hear the term meridians more often.
That's because meridians belong to the body energy system. They're used in healing practices like acupuncture because they map how qi circulates in relation to organs and tissues. Nadis, on the other hand, belong to the subtle body and don't map around body parts. They carry the currents that move through the chakras and connect us to the larger layers of reality.
The easiest way to picture nadis is as rivers in an ecosystem. The nadis carry energy from the chakras, the major reservoirs, and distribute it throughout the subtle body. The chakras can also receive energy through the nadis.
Your whole subtle body is permeated by that flow, including the aura.
Before we even talk magic, it's important to understand that the nadis constantly circulate life force. They nourish the chakras, the light body, and the aura.
They clear stagnation and keep the whole system vibrant. You can feel that as balanced vitality, steadiness, and a sense of well-being.
When those rivers are flowing, magical work gets really interesting. Practitioners learn to guide that flow on purpose.
For now, we're focusing on using your own internal energy, the energy of your subtle body. But because we don't want to give you a false impression that your subtle body is your only source of energy for magical work, we are also going to acknowledge here that there are sources of power that you can use that are external to your own energy system, and you use them to prevent yourself from getting energetically tapped out.
And another option doesn't involve pushing a lot of energy at all. It's possible to slip into liminal space and act more directly on what you're trying to achieve rather than throw a lot of energy at it.
But even in both of these other ways of doing things, you often use your own energy system to first reach outward or direct the energy.
So learning to work with your nadis and whole internal energy system is worth the time because it's foundational to working with external energy.
Most techniques start with gathering energy in your natural center, your core, or a specific chakra. You build it the way a reservoir gathers water.
Then you send it through the nadis to wherever you're initiating the magical act, your hands, your voice, your breath, or whatever focal point.
For example, if you're charging an object with your hands, you gather energy, then send it through your nadis into your palms. The hands are the exit place where the direction of the energy is established. The nadis do the carrying.
Chances are that you might not be consciously aware of the energy flowing through the nadis. It might just seem to appear at your palms. And since your subtle body is different from your physical body, there's a degree to which that is what's happening. It is just appearing at your palms.
Same procedure for strengthening your shield. You build energy inside, then move it through the nadis into your aura or any extra shield you may have created.
The aura is your natural shield. It's literally fed by your energy channels.
And then there's also energy sensing. The nadis in your palms and fingertips can act like receivers.
Because they're alive with energy, they can be used to pick up subtle shifts in the field around you.
Hands aren't the only option, though. Some people sense or project energy from the solar plexus or the third eye.
Hands are just common because we use them to act on our will. So small chakra-like nodes often form there. Healers and artists especially tend to develop them.
But dancers or singers may develop similar nodes in their feet or throat, making those areas effective for directing energies too.
Nadis can also be useful for grounding. You can send energy down through your nadis in your legs and your feet into the earth and draw the energy back up. It's a two-way flow.
And again, there are other ways of doing things. Grounding isn't only energetic. There are other ways to ground, but we'll cover other methods later in other parts of our curriculum. We just need to mention it now so no false assumptions are made that this is the only way.
Nadis help with connecting to higher powers, too. You might raise energy along the spine and connect through the crown, or send energy through the nadis into a votive offering to open a connection across realms.
You can even use nadis when casting a circle. Gather energy, send it through the nadis into your hands. You can send it through your voice, your breath, even your eyes. Just project it outwards. The circle forms because the nadis delivered the energy.
Even when you're using external energy to cast a circle, you often reach for it through energy directed through your nadis first.
So yes, nadis show up in a whole range of magical operations.
They move energy from one place to another. That's why practitioners train to channel energy from any chakra into whatever part of the body they're using.
Hands are common because we're used to taking action with them, so directing energy through them feels natural.
But they're not the only option and not the best option for everyone.
So far, we've discussed chakras, involution, evolution, nadis. The final part of the subtle body we need to discuss is the aura. And then we should have enough understanding of our energetic biology for the sake of practicing magic and connecting with wells of power.
Energy fields radiate through and around everything. The earth, living beings, even objects. Every field has an edge, a kind of energetic skin where it meets the world around it.
Not everything has a subtle body like ours, with chakras and nadis, but everything does participate in the layers of reality, and everything has some kind of energy field. Everything has the subtle energetic essence of creation from the higher bands wrapped inside it at the core of its nature.
Our subtle bodies radiate energy outward, and that emanation forms what we call the aura.
And the aura is much more than the colorful glow people associate with it. It's part of the human energy field, nourished by the nadis, carrying energy from the chakras. It extends beyond the skin and responds to how we think, how we feel, how we interact, and to the layers of reality that run through us.
It reflects different aspects of us, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, and it adapts to what's happening inside us with our thoughts, feelings, and intentions, and it adapts to what is around us.
You may have seen pictures of auras showing them having different layers. Different systems map the aura's layers in different ways, so we're not going to get into those here. What matters is that the aura isn't just pretty rainbow colors, its structure, its function, and it can be mapped.
Just like the Earth's atmosphere protects the ecosystem while taking in sunlight, your aura protects your system while interacting with the energy around you.
And yes, it is possible to take in external energy to fortify your aura or to harmonize its vibration by using the vibration of external items such as plants, stones, animals, social interactions, and a lot more.
In this video, we're just focused on the subtle body, though. We'll get into other wells of power in later parts of the curriculum. We're just mentioning it now because we don't want to give the false impression that the aura can only be contributed to energetically by energy from your chakras and nadis. We're not an energetically closed system.
The aura is both your first shield and your first way of interacting energetically with the world. It's your buffer zone, it's your early warning system, and your interface with everything around you.
There's an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation where the captain says, "Lasers can't even penetrate our navigation shields." Your aura is basically your personal navigation shield. If you want to sense something energetically without letting it touch you, you extend your aura outward, still shielded, still protected.
You don't have to bring something into your interior energy field to sense it. You can use your aura. You can extend your aura outward and use it to sense something by coming into mild contact with it. Or you could take a small portion of it into deeper layers of your aura so that you could get a sense of it without actually compromising your system. It's a lot easier to jettison something from your system or recover from it if you aren't actually bringing it all the way into your energetic body.
That's why magical practitioners train to feel the edges of their aura, expand it, contract it, direct it, and change its vibration or content. It's not a passive glow. It's an active tool.
So to take a look at this system again, the chakras generate and transform energy. The nadis move that energy throughout your energetic system, and the aura is the field that all the movement and energy creates. It's your exterior natural shield.
When your chakras are balanced and your nadis are flowing, your aura becomes strong, vital, and responsive. When the system is stressed or stagnant, the aura can become patchy, overly porous, or even too rigid.
And magically, it matters. A strong aura helps you sense energy clearly, maintain your boundaries. It helps you project intention or qualities like strength, warmth, or even neutrality to shape the energetic face you want to present to the world.
It can help you connect through resonance to higher realms or energy sources. It can help you shield against dissonance or energetic attacks. And it can help you retain more of the energy of your light body.
Your aura is your energetic atmosphere with a membrane at the edge, and the quality of that atmosphere affects everything.
Because it's so versatile, it becomes a major tool in magical practice.
For your aura to function as your first shield, your energetic system has to be healthy. One of the simplest ways to support that is to keep your energy flowing vertically rather than horizontally.
Horizontal flow is what we call pancaking. It's common in people who feel hyper-aware or very empathic. They spread their energy outward in all directions to monitor everything.
And that's very draining. It's like a reservoir built for 10,000 people suddenly trying to supply 60,000. The water level drops pretty darn fast.
And it weakens the shield. Imagine a Viking holding a shield while arrows fly. If they stay behind the shield, they're safe. If they stick an arm out, that part gets hit. Pancaking is sticking your energetic limbs into the line of fire.
When we visualize the chakras, they're in a vertical column. Involution and evolution move along that axis. Vertical flow is natural and supportive to your energetic body.
Horizontal flow exposes you to energetic noise and emotional debris. Sometimes you need it, like when scanning a room, but it's not sustainable.
Of course, relaxing and letting your aura soften in a safe environment can be pretty restorative. And ecstatic or shamanic work can also utilize energy flows in different ways. So we don't want to say that vertical is always the way to go. We do acknowledge that there are exceptions, but that's different from pancaking out of anxiety or hyper-awareness.
A strong aura lets you sense energy without absorbing it.
It lets you project intention, even a glamour, in ways that align with your goals.
It helps you raise and retain energy within your subtle body.
And lets you adjust your resonance to connect with higher realms without overwhelming your subtle body either.
And it helps you shield naturally and effectively because it reflects your inner state. You can even program it to notice what you care about.
The aura is the living atmosphere of your subtle body. When it's healthy, magical work and everyday well-being becomes easier.
As we wrap up, remember that the subtle body isn't just a diagram or a set of concepts. It's a living system.
Your chakras, your nadis, your aura, and the great currents of involution and evolution are all part of one continuous flow that connects you to the layers of the cosmos.
Understanding how these pieces fit together supports your participation in a much larger pattern of the cosmos and your magical practice.
It gives you access to more energy, and that is the real point of this video, not just to explain the subtle body, but to show you that you already carry a complete magical ecosystem within you, one that's capable of grounding, sensing, shielding, creating, and connecting.
As you continue through this curriculum, you learn more about how to work with these systems. You are your first magical tool, and your subtle body is your first temple and your first gateway.
So please, take what you've learned here, explore it, take some time to feel it, and let it unfold. Your practice doesn't begin when you cast a spell. It begins the moment you become aware of the power moving through you.
Thank you for joining us. We are honored to be a part of your magical journey.